Hey juniors, welcome back to ACT Prep. Before I begin this video, I just wanted to start with a little disclaimer, a little PSA, if you will. Technically, you don't have to watch these videos that I post on Canvas. They're mostly supposed to be a recap in case there are students who, for whatever reason, can't make it to our live lessons. They can kind of get a summary of what we talked about during our sessions in these videos. But with that being said, of course, if you did want to watch these videos on your own time, that's completely up to you. And you certainly can do that if you want a little refresher of what we talked about. So in this video, I'll be talking a little bit about the English portion of the ACT exam and some study strategies that you can use, as well as what you can expect for this portion of the exam. And just before I jump into that, I want to talk a little bit about some business. You all, by now, by October 9th, should have received your ACT prep books in the mail. I actually have mine right here. This is what it should look like. It's a big book. So we delivered those to you all. And if you haven't gotten yours, it's likely that we don't have your current mailing address on file. So if you haven't gotten yours, just make sure to email me with your current mailing address, and we'll make sure to get that to you right away. But you do want to have this book because from here on out, this is where all of your homework assignments will be for college prep or for ACT prep. For now, because I know there might be a couple of you who don't have it yet, and if you don't, I will be posting scanned copies of the problem sets from my book that you are welcome to access and use when you complete your homework. But I don't know yet if I'll be doing that for the whole school year. So please get into the habit of using your book. It's better to practice with your own book because you get to write in it. You get to, do it for yourself and kind of get some experience with what taking the real test will be like once it's time to do so. And I think that's all I had for related to the books. But yeah, if you haven't received yours, please send me an email. The next thing that I want to talk about is just a little bit more information about the ACT exam, since I know there might still be some questions about it, and I want to make sure that we address those before we get any further into the course. So as a reminder, ITA does reimburse all students for the cost of one ACT exam, and there is the MMSD Juniors Only Day, which is the day that all juniors are required to take the ACT, and that is also a free exam. So technically you get two free exams, two free attempts at taking the ACT. So yeah. The only thing, though, that you have to remember to get reimbursed from ITA for one of the ACT exams that you take is that you need to show proof that you paid the registration fee. So, for example, you can forward me the confirmation email that you get when you sign up, and that will work towards showing that you paid the registration fee. Oh, and then obviously you want to make sure that you register to take the exam. So spots fill up for the ACT pretty fast, and it's always good to have a date set aside for the exam in advance so that you already have something on the calendar, you have something to look forward to, a goal to work towards while you're studying for the ACT. And really, we encourage students to take it at least a couple of times. So if you did want to improve your score from the first time, you can. So I would say, log on to the ACT web account, create your own account, and see when you're available to take the ACT exam. And you can schedule one out pretty far out. but I would say plan to take it in June at the absolute latest. Because after June, you're going to want to start thinking more about your college applications, and that'll be a whole nother ballpark to navigate. If you have any questions about any of this, or you're not sure how to sign up to take the ACT exam, you can, of course, email me. I'll be available that way, and we can schedule a one-on-one virtual meeting to talk about any questions that you have. Okay, so jumping into the English test. I actually won't be covering too much of the studying strategies for the ACT exam, or for the English portion of the ACT exam, because they're actually a part of your homework assignment to read. But I will say that students do ask me, what is the best way to study for the English portion of the exam? And obviously, like the rest of the portions of the exam, the best way to study is really to practice, and that's what your homework is going to entail. You're going to be taking practice exams that are the same sort of questions that will be asked on the real exam. It's pretty common for the ACT to repeat questions, not necessarily this exact word for word verbatim questions, but the sort of themes that they ask and the way that they ask the questions is normally the same. So it helps to go over previous questions that they've used in the past, because this will set you up for success once you actually take the exam. The best way to practice for the exam is to take those practice exams and then to go over the answers, and most importantly, go over the answers that you got wrong, and see what the right answers are and why they are the correct answers. So in the book, there will be an answer key that walks you through how to choose the right answer if you did get it wrong for a specific question. So that kind of helps you think about, okay, here's what the test is asking me to do, and here's how I find the right answer. And as far as specific strategies go for studying the English portion of the exam, a lot of students tend to think that formality is really important and being technical is really important when it comes to the English exam. And so they tend to get pretty tripped up with like using fancy words, big vocabulary, commas and semicolons, because they think that's the formal way that the ACT wants the right answers for. But usually the correct answer is going to be the one that is the most simple, the most easy to read, the one that sounds the most natural. So with that in mind, I always encourage students to, if they're not sure what the right answer is, to choose the answer that actually sounds the best when they read it out loud. Obviously, you can't read stuff out loud during an exam, but you can read it in your head. And you know what sounds the best to you, what sounds the most natural. And you also know from probably your writing classes, your English classes in school, that usually, it's better not to get so fancy with your writing. Usually you just want to be very clear and concise, because this is the easiest way to get your point across. And it's the most fluid for your reader to understand when they're reading a passage. So with these in mind, with these tips in mind, I want you to take the practice exams and post your answers so I can see how you did. And then from there, review the answer key to see how you can improve. Okay, that's it from me today. I wanted to end early so that you have plenty of time to work on those problem sets, those practice drill sets in your book, because that's really what's going to prepare you for taking the ACT, is just, going on your own and practicing. So with that said, please go ahead and complete your homework. We're ending early, so you should have time to do this right now. But if you don't have time right now, the homework assignment is due tomorrow, October 10th. That's a Sunday, and it's due before 10 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, everything will be on Canvas, and if you don't yet have your ACT book, I did post PDFs of the homework online, and you should be able to do it that way. And to submit your homework, you can either submit a text box, so you can, go in and write your answers, or submit like a Word doc or a Google Doc, or if you kind of just went in your book and circled the answers and that's how you did your homework, feel free to just take pictures of your homework and upload it to Canvas that way. And if you have any questions about that, again, you can email me. All right, let's see what's next here. All right, upcoming. So next time we talk, which will be on a couple weeks, it'll be October 31st. We'll have our math test, or our lesson on our math test, and we'll be talking about that next time. All right, folks, that's all I have for you. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.